what's going on in the fitness industry today, we know a lot of things are changing. When we think about the possibilities of aging, people are embracing that. And so there's a lot of different techniques that are being proposed related to how seniors should exercise. There is a gym called Gray Still, and it is run by an ER physician. He was a former ER physician, and he opened a gym based on some really basic strength training techniques. It's squat, deadlift, bench press, heavy rows, and then a little bit of intermittent cardio. And that's kind of all they do. That is the whole program. And so he talks a lot on his videos about how beneficial this is for frail older adults. And so the question is, all right, is that what we should be doing? Should we all be, to getting all of our clients, really heavy loaded, get them under the bar? His little tagline is, I get you under the bar, I can change your life. Okay, so again, is that what we should all be doing? We're going to hear from Evie Flaherty later, who is the co-founder of Aging Evolution. And a big part of their group, in fact, their founders, are all older physique competitors or bodybuilders. They're now in their 60s and 70s and still kicking butt and looking good. And this is Evie right here in the pink top that we're going to hear from later. They are following a very hardcore bodybuilding type routine. They're spending a lot of time in the gym lifting weights. They're also eating a very specific dietary pattern. So again, and we look at some older bodybuilders. Who are some older bodybuilders that come to mind? They're out in the media today. You don't know any? Arnold Schwarzenegger is one. Lou Ferrigno. Sylvester Stallone, right? We see these, and these guys, Arnold kind of went downhill for a little bit, but he's back at it. Stallone has never backed off. And you see him today and you're like, oh my goodness, the guy is still amazing. Again, is this what we should be promoting and having all of our older clients do? And then you've kind of got the growing bolder evidence, which is not based on a bunch of heavy lifting at all. It's about getting out and competing in a sport, just being active and being engaged, more endurance type sports or skill-based activities. And we see all these great videos and the evidence that you can live really well. So what does the science say? What does the research say about strength training specifically? And it's hard to pull this thing out because within our culture, we still have this, right? Can we do the pink dumbbells? Okay? Can we sit in the chair, do some basic leg extensions, do some easy resistance band stuff? Is that good? Is that beneficial? So we have the gamut, don't we? And so it's hard to pull this out of kind of different modes of exercise. We're kind of looking at it without thinking about balance training necessarily or aerobic conditioning necessarily. We're just going to look at the strength training literature. And so our limiters are going to be, we're going to look at some outcomes. And our outcomes, we're going to look at bone mineral density as an outcome, because strength training definitely has a relationship to that. And we're going to look at strength itself and then at function, or what we might call longevity or disability. Okay, we'll kind of look at that together. We're going to try to break it down into some different populations from frail to fit and see, do the rules not apply equally to everybody? Do some people need more of something and less of something else, and vice versa? What does the research say about that? And then some of the variables that, there are so many variables that we can manipulate in strength training. You know, there's the load, the number of sets and reps, or the volume. There's the equipment that you use, the type of movements that you use. What does research say about this? And then also some concepts and philosophies that kind of underpin all of this. So when we look at the research, this is what we call an evidence pyramid. And at the top of the pyramid, from a research perspective, are the higher levels of evidence. What we're going to say, this is more important stuff. The systematic reviews and the meta-analyses are what I'm going to focus most on. That's what I will go to really find the evidence, because those are studies of studies. They basically say, all right, I'm going to look at all the randomized controlled trials about this topic. I'm going to collect them, I'm going to put them together and try to make some sort of sense out of all the different studies. Okay, that's kind of the top of the pyramid. So that's what we're going to focus on, although there are also some really good single group designs or other types of designs that are important as well. But here's the thing, this is what I tell my students. One study does not a conclusion make. You have to remember that. The media likes to blow up a certain study. It's like, oh my gosh, this is the next best thing. But you have to be careful about that. And as an example, we look at something like in the healthcare field of estrogen replacement therapy, right? All the lower quality studies supported the use of estrogen replacement therapy for all women. Then the government, the NIH, I think it was specifically, funded this large-scale study that said, let's really look at this, and they stopped it early because they found the risks of estrogen replacement therapy for certain women. Okay, so they stopped it. So a higher level of evidence, a better study design refuted the lower evidence. So we just have to be careful. It's a mess.